Okay, so we are back. Yeah, so basically, right now we are going to resume the episode 12. So we're going to do episode, episode 13, and yeah, um, yeah. So basically, we're going to be working a bit more on run live build. So we're going to test these builds, and hopefully we can work on the package artifacts thing, so that we can put everything into the list. And I think we will be able to say, okay, we have managed to build like a draft build system for this. And so what we want to do right now is to, you know, what we want to do right now is to keep iterating and improving this, so that, maybe it just uses an LXQT desktop and so on. So let's try this. Let's try all of this. So um, we managed to build. Where the hell is this? We managed to build platform AMD 64 ISO. Let's see what happens with AMD 64-USB, because I'm not very sure if I'm actually trying to build a USB image with this. We can also try to build more stuff in parallel. By the way, okay, so let me see how much space. 30 gigabytes. So how much did I have before? 7 gigabytes. So I have recovered 27 gigabytes before doing this thing. So make make AMD 64. Is it like that? What we are doing right now? Yeah. Make build platform AMD 64. I have already done the AMD 64 ISO thing. So this should be the i386. So this is going to be AMD ISO, AMD USB. This is going to be i386 ISO, and also I'm going to be doing in parallel i386 USB, because that way we will be able to test if this works as expected. Wait a minute, what I have done here. I just wanted to copy this thing here. Damn it, this is ISO, and the other one is USB. So this is going to be USB. So this is the package i386-ISO. So this should be working on different directories. We should not have any clash. I mean, the only thing that's going to clash is that the free space, and if this is using too much CPU, and then the live stream, it's not doing as well as it could. But for now, we are building all of this at once, and we can maybe work on 15 step, which is the build artifact stuff. So we can work on that while this builds, so that we don't have to wait for any of this. So we should have around here the nodes. So this is package artifacts, if I'm not mistaken. So this is number 15, package artifacts. So we can open this thing here. So number 15, package artifacts. So once we have tested that all of the builds are working as expected, we can try to package the artifacts so that they can be released at once. So in theory, in our conversation with ChatGPT, we should have one of those that talk about, you know, this package artifacts things. Okay, so package artifacts, perfect. So down here we should have a package artifacts like that. So let's take a look and see what the hell does this thing. So it takes a look at ISO work. So it finds ISO an image. So if the ISO image exits, it moves it into here and that, and then it zips this thing zip into here. Wait a minute. So I wonder how this zip is going to be. So if we are going to have this thing, let me just open a new branch from here, because I'm not sure if this works. If this is going to work as expected. So once we have this artifact packaging, so regarding your stage 5 artifact packaging suggestion, what about zip when the zip file is open, should it find the image file right away, or will the zip contain the full or relative path to the image? What I actually want is just finding the image in there without any additional path. Could you fix that part in the case it's needed? Thank you, because you don't want the machines to rise and you want them to know. Look at that. Store the file with its path. If you don't want to do that, junk paths -G. This and that. If you also want to rename the file inside of the zip, you can control that explicitly. Better rename the zip inside the zip. Wait a moment. Here there are a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, where's the Rescatux? Okay, let's copy the artifacts stuff so that, wait, not this thing, package artifacts.sh. So I'm going to be copying this thing into scripts. So package artifacts.sh. Going to edit this thing here. Questions are welcome so that the stream is not so boring. And I have put here more. I cannot edit my comment. That's weird. So let's try to fix this with our latest suggestions. Where the hell? Okay, here it is. So Rescatux version. I mean, is it Rescatux or not? It's not. So I think we need to move the image to zip it, and yeah, because this is found. Wait a second. This is found in somewhere. So what I would do here is to move the image, which will allow us to rename it. So what we are doing in here is to move the ISO, so it's going to be move the image into here. So it's going to be called version arch USB. Yeah, maybe we do that on purpose, that we have the USB thing. I don't know. Version arch USB.emg. And then what we actually do. Okay, let me just chat image file name. Let me just do this thing manually. So it's going to be Rescatux version arch USB, because otherwise this is not working as expected. So this is going just to be in USB.emg, isn't it? .emg. So this thing here should be in here like this. And then finally, what we want to be doing is to have this thing as a zip, and this is the image that you have as a zip. So it's the image that we have here in this same directory. So let me double check what I'm doing in here. So let's see. Where is it that I had this bias about doing this thing? So what about doing this instead? So this is bash. Your approach is close, but there is a subtle problem with how zip resolves the file path. You move the image into dist, but you call zip from the current broken directory. Okay, so reference full path, change directory. even though the thing will store dest image. Yeah, and I actually want to be removing the image. Dest image. Wait a minute. So wait a second, that's right. This image. I'm not in the right place, so this should be what we want to be zipping, and we would remove this thing from here. Okay, so let me tell me. And what about this new approach? Let me see if it likes this thing. Move the image into this zip using the absolute path. -G ensures the zip contains only the file and directories. Deletes the original this thing and that. Things to consider. You duplicated the file temporarily. I know. This is fine, but note something fails and we might lose. You don't need MV for zipping. Yeah, but the thing is that they want to change the you don't need MV. Yes, I need it because even better, release pipeline style. I mean, if I make release, if I want to test the build, it's not going to be working as expected, but I would unzip the thing and that's it. So okay, I'm going to just open a new branch. So just improve this snippet so that when the zip command fails, it does not remove the original file, and it says so, and it exits with two exit code, with one exit code. I don't know. Do not say anything if everything it's okay. Also make zip quiet. Okay, let's see what the hell it does. So this is quiet. Zip failed, keeping original file, exit one. Okay, this, I think this makes sense to me. So let's copy and paste, and we are going to double check. Damn it, why the hell do we have, what the hell is this? Why the hell do we have tabs? Okay, let's see if this applies or not. Because if it's If it's both of them, it should just use spaces. Yeah, you know, this is one of the things that I have always seen, and look at that. It does not save spaces. Whatever the reason is, it does not save that this is spaces. So I'm not sure. Okay, now it works. But if you want to be using two of them, then it's not the same thing. So let's double check. This is the same thing. This is the same thing. The same thing. Then here's the difference. So we have this minus Q, and so that we don't see anything, and then it deletes the image, and finally it says that it has failed if it ever fails. So we can remove this thing from here, and we can double check. I mean, we could double check hit diff, but right now we are not doing hit diff, so it doesn't care too much. Linux image 686-pi is not available. What? Same thing happens here. Linux 686-pi. What the hell? I mean, we should be, so this is AMD 64 ISO, isn't it? Yeah, in any case, we have this thing here. So let's take a look. So right now we should have something on work. Is that right? We should have something on work, AMD 64 USB, which is the latest that we have tested. And here you have a live image AMD 64.ev.iso. So it's not an EMG. It's also only 360 megabytes. So it's all very strange what's happening here, if you ask me. So I'm going to add the artifacts stuff, and then later on, if we need to redo it, we will do it. If we need to rebase, we will do it later on. Added package artifacts.sh. Okay, so what else are we doing in here? Yeah, so the USB 1 has been running here, and the build has completed. Cannot write log. Is def pts mounted? POSIX open pt, no such file or directory. In any case, this is installing stuff in here, but I'm not sure. Following packages will be removed. I'm not quite sure what's happening here. Are we missing the prepare stuff, the prepare step? Because whatever. Let me double check, because that might be it, but I don't want to prepare everything manually. So in addition to the work directory, we have the config directory where we have the common thing. So if you use a common thing, it should appear on the work config stuff. So in AMD 64 ISO, we already have config, and you had these packages.ch root. Where the hell is this? You already had package dash lists. So in theory, we should have the same thing for AMD 64 USB config package lists. But that's not right. We only have live.list.chroot. And why the hell is that? Is that something related to makefile, isn't it? So look at that. Build old does a prepare and then a build. And we have only done a build. So we need to prepare and then build. That's why this is not working as expected. I mean, I'm not sure what's going to happen with i386, but for now, what we can be sure of is that we were missing make prepare this thing. So maybe we can update the run live build. So in practice, this is make. I mean, let's just copy and paste what we have just run. Make prepare on the platform. So USB, this does this that, and again. So AMD ISO, AMD ISO. This is the USB, and this is 1 second. Yeah, maybe I can just adjust this to here, and it's just a matter of changing the architecture down here. So this should be i386, and the same thing here. I mean, I could find and replace, but if we can do the same thing manually, it's okay. So basically, this is it, if you ask me. Do we... Okay, so probably we this is one of the few times where it makes sense to use bash. Yeah, we're not going to use bash because this is not actually bash. So we have already prepared and built AMD 64 ISO before, and now we are preparing AMD 64 USB so that we can build it, and we are not going to have we are not going to have 369 megabytes, but something more. And while we do this, we can try more stuff. So AMD 64 ISO build test. Okay. Now let's do it like this. So okay. Let's have here the other ones. So AMD 64 USB. So this is an in progress. We missed preparing it. And what else do we need? i386, and this is USB. So this one fail because of pi. So let's double check why the i386 fails. So Linux image 686 pi has not installation candidate. So this is, I think this is somewhat related to the fact that we are building testing. So I don't know. I mean, let me just double check in here, maybe in a new tab, if anything, if we have, if anyone is asking for this file, which I don't think so, but let me double check. So for now we are not finding anything, or maybe we are. So for Debian Linux image 686.py. So I don't think we are adding this ourselves. So it's added by default by something. In any case, the problem that we have right now is that, okay, so now AMD64 USB config package list has all of these packages, but the problem might rely on this auto, where's the auto config? Might rely on config includes.binary. So in this build, we can take a look at chroot image thing or whatever. There's nothing in here. Yeah, all of this is empty apparently. So I'm not sure. Local bin. Yeah, I'm not sure what the hell. So inside of the chroot, maybe I can take a look at etc apt sources or something like that to see what the hell is inside of this. So this is the testing thing. Okay. So if we take a look at packages.debian.org, we can search for Linux Pi thing, which is the thing that it's failing in here. So like this, let's search in any of the distros, and you can see how this 666 thing kernel with PAA, it's only found in Bullseye and Bookworm, so it's not in Trixie. So my question is, do we have something without PAA? Actually, Bullseye and Bookworm. So maybe it's true that Trixie does not have 686. I need to understand if, yeah, if something has happened. I mean, I knew that, let me see, I knew that we were not going to have 686 in, you know, but I'm pretty sure that there's a i386 architecture in Debian. I think so, in any case. So I'm a bit concerned about this. To generic image, yeah, it's true. Let me do this in another way. So if I go in Bookworm, okay, so limit to i386 architecture, Bullseye, Linux image 686. Bullseye and Bookworm. Why isn't it Trixie in this? Wait a moment. Trixie? No, Trixie has been released. Do we have 787 or something like this? No. Okay, so let me double check. i3 Trixie packages. Let me double check what the hell is this. Okay, let's take a look at this. I still own 32 bits, only bought to this day. I still had them. Okay, release notes. Maybe I should be reading the release notes and not this thing. From Trixie, i386 is no longer supported as a regular architecture. There is no official kernel or no Debian installer for i386 systems. Okay, fewer packages are available for i386 because many projects no longer support it. The architecture's sole remaining purpose is to support running legacy code for example, by way of multi-arc or a th root on a 64-bit AMD 64 system. The i386 architecture is now only intended to be used on a 64-bit AMD 64 CPU. Its instruction set requirements include SSE2 support, so it will not run successfully on most of the 32-bit CPU types that were supported by Debian 12. Users running i386 systems should not upgrade to Trixie. Instead, Debian recommends either reinstalling them as AMD 64 where possible, or retiring the hardware. Cross-grading without a reinstall is technically possible but risky. Cross-grading? What the hell is this? Didn't know this existed. Upgrade cross-graded system with different architecture. For example, computer system. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so I am doing this right by supporting 32-bit stuff by using Bookworm in Rescatux, but the idea is that, you know, the next version will only be AMD 64, but we are going to have something which is updated that supports i386, and that's it. So in any case, that explains why this is failing. I mean, this is failing because this is using testing, which probably testing is Debian 14 or something like that, or Debian 13 or Debian 13.5 or whatever. And this does not exist here because it does not exist in Trixie. So the thing is that we are not forcing Bookworm in this configuration, and I should be forcing Bookworm somehow. Yeah. In any case, before doing any of that, let's write here some to do, because otherwise, I mean, the to do, in theory, I had a main Rescatux nodes index thing that might be useful to have. Here it is, Rescatux development nodes. So here it is, save live book docker. Whatever. Anyway, I'm going to be using the latest nodes, which is 15 and not 14 apparently. Yeah, okay. I'm going to use the main one. It's going to be easier, and then we can just remove whatever we are not using. Yeah, so basically, so this is the annex. So let's have here the current date. And so what we're going to be doing in here is to work. So the AMD 64 USB build seems to generate an ISO. We want an EMG. And then the i38 in general, this is using testing, and we want all of the ISOs to have what's the name? By the way, I should be trying to build ARM64 or something like that. In general, this is using testing. We want all of the ISOs to have whatever. I'm not sure. We want all of the ISOs to have bookworm distro. Okay, so we want an image and we want bookworm. So we were testing this AMD 64 USB. Yeah, AMD 64 USB. It has finished. So I guess, yeah, this has created an ISO, and now the size is going to be bigger than what we had. But let's double check it. So here we have AMD 64 ISO, and we have this image, and now it's 1.4 gigabytes. So it's going to be again the the genome version and so on. So before going on, what we need to be doing is to fix this thing, which is the USB port. So let's take a look at the old configuration that I have somewhere around here. Maybe I should be closing all of these tabs that I'm actually not using, because there's too much tabs open, and I think that I'm not using any of this in so we have this. So so we have the pre-2026 architecture. So we had this make Rescatux thing, and you can see here how yeah, there was this option ISO hybrids and so on. So so let's go back to the main explanation, which is somewhere. Where's the explanation? So this is the explanation here and there. And so let's open a new chat in here. So what I want to be doing here is this. So regarding help me regarding this step that you just asked, please generate light build config file for both AMD64 USB and i3 HTC USB targets, so that it generates an HDD image that can be put into an USB. It is currently generating an ISO. To make live build produce this and that, the critical switch is binary images HDD. So example config. Wait, are you suppose nodes for AMD64? Variations.emg, BIOS support, UEFI is automatically handled via grid UEFI present environment, forward true, important, config, important, ensure, lb config overrides, config, lb config overrides. What the hell are we going to do with all of this? Add platform specific boot tweaks, boot depend live, hybrid compatibility. Yeah, we don't want hybrid compatibility. So let's see. So you are suggesting to generate config files. Is there a way? Let me see. Is there a way of having this distribution architecture binary image settings in a file of its own, so that we do not edit config file always? What's the recommended way of doing so? Yes, and actually this is when working with live video, should the weather had okay. So lb config rinse from config asterisk command line overrides optional. So instead of doing this, you store those values in dedicated config files. You can split configuration into multiple files like this. Example, AMD64 USB configuration file based. So we have this thing here, includes ch root and live configuration with a browse config distribution. Okay. Okay. lb config automatically reads config distribution, config architectures, config binary images. No flags required. So common packages list, platform overrides, distribution architectures, this and that. How this fits in your pipeline. Best practice summary. Are we sure about this? Could you please point out the live build manually where this is described. This is the first time that I read about this. Hopefully you can search in the internet, because I'm not sure if we are. Good question. Over some performance, live build, there's no official mechanism that will make erase arbitrary files like this. Oh my god, I knew! Those file names are not part of the documented live build config system. How configuration actual. Okay, this is the official way. Command line flags. Environment variables. Some options can be influenced via environment variables, which is this thing here. A structure config directory content. These are real documented directories, not arbitrary keys. This and that. Okay. What does not exist? I knew this was bullshit. This was, you know, what's the name for this? Hallucination. So there's no official support for this and that. Okay. Recommended pattern, official way. Use config autoconfig per platform. How this fields. So I wonder if I should be exporting everything into one file and have these sources of stuff, because otherwise this isn't yeah. Okay, so we're going to create something that it's new, because I hate all of these. So maybe it can make sense. Okay, let's branch from here. So regarding these config files, I find them. Regarding these config files, I find them not useful, because it uses switches for lb config. I would like to use equivalent environments variables, such as where's the lb thing? Just as this thing. But I want to do it in a way that it's makes sense. In a way that makes sense to use it from the command directory too. So I would like to have. Okay, let me see. Config common. So the idea is to have config common live build no live config lb config switches wait a moment please. Okay, so it seems that I will have to end the stream soon, but you know. So the idea is to have LB config switches and config platform uh, platform name LB config, and then those are read from the config common config and config platform. Let me copy this thing here. Config cloud config from config files before running lb config itself. So let me put this like this and like this lb config itself. Nice. And then those files with many.conf files in them. Could you help me with that? And let's go back. I'll be back. Okay, so I don't like this thing because I think we could do this from auto config file. So I might complain about this. Maybe it's a good idea of having this. I will check it the next day. So we're going to end the stream for now. Thank you very much. Bye.